What's going on, everyone? I had originally planned a totally different episode for today, but when I woke up this morning and I saw the news, I decided that it'd be a better topic to talk about since it's fresh, it's ever developing, so things might slightly change from when we're filming, from when I saw it to when you see the video, but nevertheless, I don't think things are going to change too very much to where it's going to be irrelevant. I think it's going to be worth talking about because if you have not yet planned a garden for 2026, I'm hoping that this video is going to be a motivator for you because I think that what's going to come from what I'm about to talk about is going to greatly impact food prices, your food budget, and ultimately the amount that you're willing to grow in your garden or wanting to grow in your garden, because I think growing a garden can dramatically offset what I'm about to talk about. So something happened last night that caught my attention, and that was oil futures. Now, oil futures, probably to the average person, don't really mean a whole lot until you go to the pump and you notice, oh wow, the price of gas has gone up. But oil futures, for someone that studied finance and economics for 4 years and has a degree in it, means a lot because oil is still what runs most of the world's economy. And oil did something that really kind of shocked and awed the entire world last night. Oil hit $118 a barrel in an incredibly short period of time. It's what economists call a melt up. And essentially what it is there is such a small amount of supply and such a large amount of demand for the future contracts on oil that it creates what's called a short squeeze. And this can be caused for a whole host of different reasons. You might say it might be the war or the conflict in the East. It might be supply chain shortages, the Strait of Hormuz. But regardless, there's something that has caused contracts to essentially create a short squeeze. And this map that I have, this chart that I have pulled up here is simply from basically mid-January till today. And even from February, a barrel of oil was running at around $62 a barrel. And that equates to, the price that you pay at the pump, which was kind of around like $3 for unleaded, right? $3 is unleaded. To now, a barrel of oil hit at its high almost $119 a barrel. That is a 70-something% increase in less than 2 weeks. And that is a supply chain shock and a pricing shock that has not yet been fully priced in. And I'm going to explain how that will affect your food prices going forward. And I will also preface by saying I'm not necessarily trying to scare anybody, but I want you to be prepared because the cost of being prepared is really relatively inexpensive. The cost of regret can be very expensive. And so through this, I'm hoping to kind of prepare you for what could happen. I don't have a crystal ball, so I want to be very clear there. I don't have a crystal ball. Things could change. By the time we upload this, things could change. But as it stands right now, I'm going off the premise that what if it doesn't change? We've been told things would be short-lived in the past. We've been told that things would end quickly. 2020, 30 days, right? That didn't end so quickly. This might be the same. And as a gardener, I grow food for myself, for my family, for my neighbors, for my community. And I see the money-saving capabilities that a garden provides because this will have, if it is sustained, have a direct impact on your food cost. And here's how. Welcome to Farm Finance 101. This is hopefully going to explain why your produce has to go up. Now, if this is all contingent on if fuel cost stays elevated, right? There's a very big asterisk. There's a very big fine print disclaimer here. This is contingent on fuel cost staying high. Now, again, because I don't have a crystal ball, I don't know what the future is going to hold. But as of today, we've already seen diesel cost go up, I know, because we have 3 tractors, and those 3 tractors take diesel, and it went from, at the end of 2025, an average of $3.20 per gallon for diesel. That has now gone up to an average of $4.82. That is a 44% increase as of yesterday. And some of those prices haven't even fully hit yet that we saw based on last night, because it sometimes takes up to 24 hours for those prices to start to be reflected. That's a 44% increase in diesel cost. Now, that is your direct fuel. Now, farmers consider that there's two different expenses that fuel is broken into. There's what's called indirect fuel expenses and direct fuel expenses. Pretty simple to understand, but direct fuel expenses is the raw fuel going into the tank of the tractors, of the trucks, whatever it is, to actually operate the farm. And that accounts for roughly 8 to 10% of a farm's budget, an operating budget. That means in order for the farm to function, 8 to 10% of the overall budget expense, the expenditures of that farm are going to be direct fuel cost, 8 to 10%. So if the farm had originally budgeted for 8 to 10% at $3.20, that means that the new budget, if the price of your produce doesn't change, will account for roughly 44% higher than that amount. And that's roughly the equivalent of about $11 to $14, or 11 to 14% of the overall budget. So that has gone up dramatically. Then there's indirect fuel. And this is kind of the hidden secret, the kind of the silent killer of a farm's operating budget. What many of you don't realize is that fuel is actually in so many different farm products. And I'll break it down. Fertilizer. If you're using synthetic fertilizer, synthetic is it's a chemically derived, laboratory-made fertilizer. Think ammonium nitrate. That runs about $200 an acre, but so much of that cost is because it's petroleum-based. The higher the cost of petroleum, oil, the higher the cost of fertilizer. Pesticides, synthetic pesticides. Anything synthetic is synthetic because it's synthetically derived, meaning it is actually petroleum-based. Pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides that are synthetically derived all are derived from oil and petroleum products. So the higher the oil, higher the price of oil, the higher the price of those products. Right now, fertilizers, 2025, fertilizer was running at $200 an acre. Pesticides were about $75 an acre. Herbicides were $75 an acre. And then fungicides, depending on the crop, some don't even use it. So there's not a really good average for that, but it's probably somewhere in the ballpark of $50 to $75 per acre as well. And that's based on 2025 prices. If that goes up in tandem with the price of fuel going up by roughly 60% almost overnight, if that increases, even if it's a 30% increase or a 20% increase, these numbers are all slated to change. Here's some other ones you probably don't think of. Packaging. If you've ever gone to the grocery store and you bought a clamshell, a plastic thermoformed package for tomatoes, that has a cost. That plastic is petroleum based, and that plastic is going to go up. The rough packaging cost per acre is around $2,000 an acre. Believe it or not, this is actually one of the larger expenses that a farm has and is actually indirectly associated to the cost of fuel. Labor. This is a wild one. Now, through my research, I actually found that labor has a very direct correlation to the cost of fuel, because if it costs someone about, let's say, $10 to drive to work, but now it costs them $15 to drive to work, they're either going to find work closer, or they'll simply ask for more for a raise because it's costing them more money to get to work. Their cost of living has increased, and therefore, since their cost of living has increased, they need to ask for more labor. And this has a direct relationship to the cost of fuel, because it is one of the greatest contributors to getting to work and their cost of living. And last but not least, the transit cost to get the produce from the farm to the grocery store. Now, this is not a direct cost to the farm itself, but it is a direct cost to you, the consumer, because the grocery store or the supply chain, someone in supply chain management has to get that harvest. Maybe it's a broker, right? A lot of times it's a broker. Takes fuel to get it from the farm to the broker, and from the broker to the grocery store. if that was around $200 an acre, which it was in 2025, assuming that the increase stays across the board, that's going to be roughly $288 per acre. Now, all these numbers kind of seem, they seem a bit reasonable, right? But that's because it's based on an acre. Multiply that by 100 acres, 200 acres, 1,000 acres. That's where costs start to increase dramatically. The indirect cost for a budget was around 12 to 14% of the overall budget. That was indirect cost. So you have direct cost and indirect cost. Combining the two together in 2025, the cost of the direct and indirect fuel cost would have been roughly 20 to 24% of the total farm's operating budget was dictated by the price of fuel. If it goes up accordingly, you could see a farmer basically either having to swallow the cost, absorb it, not raise their prices, or raise their prices accordingly to account for that budget increase by roughly another 12 to 14%. 12 to 14% is what they will have to charge so that they can, as a farm, stay operational. That will then trickle into the broker. The broker's going to have to pay more, which they don't want to go under. So they're not going to swallow that cost. They're going to pass that on, plus a little bit, to the grocery store. And the grocery store then is the end of that supply chain to get to you. And they're not going to swallow that cost either. So they're going to raise it as well. And each way along the way, they raise it by a little bit for their costs and their uncertainty. And so what starts out as just a simply 12 to 14% increase might end up as a 15 to 20% or even 22% increase in the price of produce. And lastly, why can't a farmer just take the cost? Why can't they just take it on the chin and say, oh man, that's unfortunate? Debt, farm debt, is one of the biggest contributing factors to why all these prices will have to increase and why your produce is going to have to increase. Because farm debt for a large farm in 2025 was $1.8 million of debt. For a small farm had roughly $256,000 in debt. If you take what is a very low profit margin business, farming is speaking from experience, my whole family's farmers, we now have a farm. A farm is a very high expense, low profit margin business. It is a bit of a thankless job. But when you have this much debt and things increase this fast, they are not going to simply wait around to see if it changes. They're going to protect themselves because that debt, the bank is going to call regardless of if they sell their produce for $1 a pound or if they sell it for $1.20 a pound. That debt is due. And so this is why your produce cost is going to go up. Your produce cost is going to go up if prices stay elevated. It's pretty simple economics. And I don't necessarily want to see anybody be blindsided or caught off guard when the price of food starts to increase again. And so what can you do to prepare for it? Growing a garden is going to be one of the best ways for you to save money in 2026 if fuel cost stays elevated. And I keep reiterating that because I know that I'm going to hear people say, Luke, you're trying to scare people. You're trying to fearmonger people. Absolutely not. What I'm trying to do is to prepare you for what can and probably will happen if fuel prices stay elevated. By growing a garden, you can take control over your food bill. Your food cost does not have to be reliant on what farmers have to charge. And I'm not saying to put farmers out of business by not supporting them. You will support them plenty, I'm sure. But to the extent at which your food costs and your food budget has to go up and strain your finances, I would so much rather see you grow a garden than for you to take that on the chin and for you to say, man, well, my weekly grocery budget went from $100, now it's at $120, or it went from $200 to now $240 just because I didn't grow a garden. And this is all contingent on, and I'll repeat it again, fuel costs staying elevated. Because I know that I'm going to hear this. Luke, this is short-lived. Luke, You are fear-mongering to try to sell seeds. I am absolutely not fear-mongering. We actually have no problem moving seeds. They're selling themselves just fine. What I'm trying to do is to prepare people, prepare you for what could happen and probably will happen if fuel costs stay elevated. It's just simple economics. And you have the ability right here. This is power. Seeds are power, because seeds allow you to take control of your food security so that you don't have to be reliant on the grocery store, the prices they charge, or the prices that come from the fallout of these increases. You can actually take a pack of seeds and you can grow pounds and pounds of food, high quality food, for your family. The last thing I know you're going to say is, Luke, right, but you talked about synthetic pesticides, synthetic herbicides, synthetic fungicides, synthetic fertilizers. What if I'm growing organically, or what if I'm searching out organic farmers? It won't matter. It won't matter. And why does it matter? Well, because as soon as a farmer can increase their what they're charging, that's growing synthetically, someone who's growing organically is also going to increase their price as well, because they can. Everything will go in tandem. Or if anything else, the demand for organic will rise, and because the supply won't have changed, there will be a supply chain constraint, and you'll have to raise your prices of organic, because the price of synthetic, or the price of conventionally grown produce, has risen so much that there isn't that disparity anymore, and there will need to be, because there's a premium to be paid for organic. There always has been a premium to be paid for organic, and that is why, just searching out organic is simply not going to be the solution. Growing it is going to be the solution. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that things change. I hope that the price goes down. I hope that we don't unnecessarily suffer. But I can say with 100% certainty that if they stay the way that it is, no farmer in America, no farmer anywhere in the world is simply going to just take a 44% increase on the chin to their fuel cost and say, well, maybe next year. We will lose farmers at a record rate, and you will lose money at a record rate at the grocery store. So buy your seeds from anywhere. You can buy them from literally anywhere. I happen to sell seeds, but my main objective is to get you to grow a garden, because I want to see you save money. So make sure to like this video, share this video with a friend if you think that they should be aware of it. I hope that you learned something. I hope that your eyes were opened to some of the expenses that a farm can encounter and how that affects you at the grocery store. And I'll be back with Wednesday with what was planned for today. Very excited about it. And again, it's not doom and gloom. The sun will come out tomorrow. We'll get through this, but it's important to stay prepared. If not, I'll catch you guys later. So as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel. And even if the world is ending, I'll see you on Wednesday. All right, grow big, everybody. Take care. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.